Well, you know something, Watcher Maniacs. I've been to the top of the kitchen, brother. I've walked through the dining room with a shadow of death. Stop that! It's gimmick infringement. Ugh. Oh, hey, Watchers. Now some of you guys who are just watching this clip are thinking, he's crazy. Well, you know what? Yes, I am. I am crazy about knives. Now, I probably have a singular obsession with these wonderful works of art, and I probably own too many knives that I don't need. But you know what? I love knives. I love using them. To a home cook, a knife is just something that they use to chop food up when you're cooking. But to a chef, the knife is an extension of yourself. It is part of you. It's the tools of our trade. Today on this episode, I'm going to show you a dish that involves great basic fundamental knife skills that everybody should know. Also on this episode, we're going to talk to my very good friend Tara Ransford at Perfect Edge Cutlery in San Mateo, California, and she's going to tell us what knives a beginning home cook or someone who's kind of an experienced home cook should have in their culinary repertoire. Fasten your seatbelts, guys. It's time to watch me cook. Hit my music. Knives, knives, knives. What is our obsession with these weapons of mass deliciousness? Well, I'll tell you. Maybe it's from being a kid and we love to play with sharp stuff and fire. I don't know, but all I know is that the knife is the most important tool in the kitchen. Now, as an instructor teaching high school, I teach my students two things. One, mise en place. Have your stuff in place before you start cooking. And number two, basic knife proficiency. Very, very important. A knife needs to be respected. A knife needs to be appreciated. And it needs to be taken care of. And here's a question for you, Watchers. What is the most dangerous knife in the kitchen? Do you know? I'll answer for you. It's a dull knife. You don't want a dull knife. You want to keep your knives nice and sharp. If you don't have a sharpening stone, if you don't feel comfortable sharpening your own blades, leave it to the pros. When I first started out, I took my knives to a great company called Chef Knives to Go, and they sharpened my knives for me. But now I have a sharpening stone and I take care of it. So you know what? Time to plan the menu. Time to plan our menu. So I decided to do something that's going to require a lot of knife skills. We're going to cover some different knife cuts. On the menu today is braised Swiss steak. And with the Swiss steak, we're going to cut our onions into thin strips. Also, we're going to be fine dicing some shallots and mincing up some garlic for this dish. And then we're going to do some ribbon cut scallions for garnish, and then take some simple roasted potatoes, baby red potatoes, and I'm just going to cut them in half. Basic knife skills, but a really, really great meal. Speaking of knives, if you guys want to take a look right now, let's take a look at my knives. Oh boy. As you can see, I have a pretty eclectic collection of knives. That is because I'm a very eclectic chef. I need to have a vast collection. Plus also, I'm an instructor and I'm teaching kids how to cook. And adults as well. And you know what? It helps to have a versatile amount of tools when you are instructing somebody to learn how to cook. So you can basically teach them anything and everything. So, yeah, I think I do all right. Cut the music! What's this I see? There's a slot in my bag that's empty? Why is that? What do we need to do? Okay, you got me. We are going to visit my good friend Tara Ransford at Perfect Edge Cutlery. Not just because I want to interview her and have her answer questions about knives. It's because, okay, I gotta go pick up an order as well. I bought a new knife, but I don't have a problem. So the other reason we're going to Perfect Edge Cutlery in San Mateo is right here. As you guys can see, this is not my knife bag. This is actually Nora's. She has more knives than this, but she hasn't filled them up yet. She has her very own Nikiri from, this is the Fire Edition, I believe, from Dragon Cutlery. It's a Nikiri knife. It's really nice. She uses it for chopping vegetables. And this is the reason why we're going. This right here is a project knife that I picked up for her at Hawthorne Cutlery and Gifts in Portland, Oregon. And it's just really cool. It's a vintage knife. It has a really kind of an old handle on it. We're taking this over to get a new handle put on it. And the material we're using is actually this right here. Haven't decided which side we want on the outside yet, but this is something Nora's wanted for a while. And we're going to take her knife over. We're going to finally get that done for her. And nothing, guys, says happy marriage like his and hers blades. Believe me, I know. Let's go see Tara. Okay, guys, we're on our way to San Mateo. My wife and I are together. She's going to get her knife rehandled. Nora, are you excited about getting your knife redone?
I'm very excited.
It's purple. All of her knives are purple. And here's the cool part. My dad says that he's a one Studebaker family in his house. You know what? We don't do that. We have his and hers Sabatiers. Pretty cool. Now, we go have some fun. All right, we're here in San Mateo at Perfect Edge Cutlery. Let's go inside. So I just found out that Tara got called away on an emergency, but that's okay because we're going to talk to a really great expert on knives. We're going to talk to Sean Moffat, who does the mobile sharpening and sales at Perfect Edge Cutlery, and that guy knows what he's talking about. Let's go see Sean. Here at Perfect Edge Cutlery. So Sean, what I want the watchers to know is, let's just say a brand new cook wants to come in here, home cook. They say, I need some knives, I want to start cooking. What would you recommend?
First thing I'd do is I'd find out what they use their knives for, how they use their knives, and what's important to them. Some people like a really durable knife. Some people like a knife that's very thin and stays sharp. Some people want a knife that's heavier. So I'm going to first get a sense of what it is they're looking for.
I personally like a heavier blade.
Yeah, and I personally really like light knives. I'm a big Japanese guy.
Oh, me too.
That being said, I'd say that you should spend most of the money on your chef's knife. Your other knives kind of come second. Your main knife that you're going to use is the chef's knife, and that's where you should spend your money.
I love my chef knives. I have my favorite. I have a Japanese 270mm Gyuto. It's absolutely my go-to knife. Also, my 9-inch Chinese cleaver is also a very good
absolutely
knife as well. So
people who use cleavers, like they love those knives. It's not something I usually use, but the cleaver lovers absolutely love them.
I love them because I'm tall.
Yeah.
Because it just helps my wrist. So what kind of knives do you have here that you would recommend for a beginning home cook?
So I would say that The Victorinox knives are a really great place to start.
Where I started.
They're made in Switzerland. They use nice soft steel. It's easy to get an edge back on. They're stainless steel, very reliable. That's just a great place to start. If you want to spend a little more money, Wusthof is a great thing. They're made in Germany. They're a little heavier. They have lifetime warranty, and they're a great knife for that $150 range. And in that same kind of range, if you wanted to go Japanese, Miyabi is a really great knife.
I've heard that Miyabis are really, really good knives. So I want to ask you, Sean, what is your personal preference? German or Japanese?
I love Japanese knives.
Oh, so do I. Okay. Okay, guys, so Sean, thank you very much. You guys, come to Perfect Edge Cutlery here in San Mateo. These guys will take care of you, and it's just a really great place to get knives. So
Largest knife selection on the west coast of the United States.
awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, guys, we're back on the road again. We're heading home. We just got done at Perfect Edge Cutlery, and I'm letting you know right now, I heart this knife. I really do. Anyway, we talked enough about knives. Now it's time to put those knife skills into practice. Now it's time to put these to work. It's time to get cooking. But the first things first, let's go shopping. Here's an important tip when you're buying meat. Buy the big chunks of meat. You want to know why? Because the less fabricated it is, the less money it costs. Knife skills save money. First things first, let's get our meats. I got some knives, might as well use them.
First thing I want you to do is take your onions, cut the ends off of them, and then cut it in half, peel it, and I want you to cut it into thin, long strips. This is what we call a julienne. You should get nice, thin, long strips of onions that are ready to go into your dish.
Shallot, time to dice.
Shallots. Once you finish taking the skin off, take the shallot. Don't cut the end off. Cut it lengthwise and then turn it, rotate it, and then cut it the other direction. This way you should get a nice small dice ready to go into your sauce. Side of your knife, crush that garlic like you mean it, get angry with it, and then chop it up. Then it should be ready for your sauce for your Swiss steak. Using a sharp knife, just cut your red potatoes in half like I'm doing, and put them in a bowl and mix it with some oil and some salt, black pepper, and cayenne pepper. It's gonna be tasty! Being very careful and using a sharp knife, slowly ribbon cut your green onions until they're nice and fine and delicate. They should come out beautiful. After your potatoes are oiled and seasoned, place them on a sheet pan and throw them into a 425-degree oven for 30 minutes. Now it's time to cook. Get your pan on the stove, get some oil in it, and let's get it nice and hot. Sear only a few cube steaks at a time. Don't overcook the pan and end up boiling your meat. And those look good. Take your meat out of the pan and add your onions, garlic, and shallots and start letting them sweat. Once your onions have cooked a little bit, add some flour to the fat in your pan to make a little bit of roux to thicken up your sauce. This should make for a very, very nice gravy.
Right, we're making our roux here with our onions. Now we're going to deglaze. That means pull up all the little bits of flavor off the bottom of the pot.
Get those bits off the bottom, deglaze your pan with some beef broth, and let's start making gravy. Stir your pot a little bit to get those bits off the bottom and bring your mixture to a boil. When you've hit a boil, put your steaks into the pan like I'm doing right now, and then reduce to simmer so that sauce will get nice and thick. Let your cube steaks simmer until they're cooked, until they're fork tender. They should be able to break apart with a fork. GBD, golden brown and delicious. Yum. Time to plate. What do you say to that, bud? Order up.
Hey Watchers, Chef Tom here. I hope you liked this episode of Watch Me Cook today. I want to say a special thank you to Tara and Sean at Perfect Edge Cutlery. What a great time we had over there. And I want to remind you guys about something. You are awesome. You have a place in this world. And there are going to be people in this world who are going to tell you you can't do something. When they say that, you say, watch me. They say, I can't get that job. Watch me. They say, you can't get that promotion. You say, watch me. Watch me grow. Watch me empower myself. Watch me prove you wrong. And I want to thank you guys again today for watching me cook. And go be awesome. Get out of here, and we'll see you next time.